Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. It's Sunday, the 3rd of December, and I got lights shining on top of my head. Must be my halo. So anyways, you probably noticed I'm not wearing my normal clothes. I'm wearing painting clothes. And you know what you do when you wear painting clothes? That's right, you paint. Let me show you my little shop I got set up. Came in here, I've got some visqueen plastic rolled around the outsides. Of course the lighting's dim. I got that bright thing that's gonna dim out. There we go, should be back to normal. Alright, so I've got this set up. I'll go ahead and shut the door when it comes time. I'm gonna come in and spray, and then as soon as I'm done spraying, I'm gonna crack that door open and have a fan so it just pulls the air out from underneath. Doesn't really matter. It's about 53, 54 degrees outside right now, which is borderline for spraying outside, and I really wish it was about 10 degrees warmer because there's no wind out there and no bugs. It'd be a perfect time to paint outside, but it's too close to the 50 degrees and it was just going to take too long for it to dry outside. Because what I'm going to do, I know that my landing gear set up very nicely, and it took, you know, when they pretty much said it takes 24 hours to set up for use, it does. I mean, it's good paint. So I'm hoping that the 2 hours of time where I think that they said you can, I'll read the instructions again, but I think it said that you can alright, it says that dries to the touch in 25 minutes, handle in 2 hours. So yeah, so they want 2 hours before you can put it into service. So what I'm probably going to do is spray the bottom of the airplane, and then I'll get the wings up on the bench, get those finalized. I can come in and do the little things that I want to do while that's setting up. If I wanted to, because of the temperature it is, I could probably bring the wing struts outside and just spray them down real quick, and bring it back inside and hang them inside, so that way I can get that done at the same time. So anyway, I'd like to have this set up back in the little paint booth, but that's not going to happen because you know what happens to paint when it starts floating in the air. So I'll bring it back a couple times during the day, just to get a look at how far it progressed. So cross your fingers. She's got an orange belly. Let's let her all set up in the because it's a lacquer. Let's see if I can get in the right position so you can see it. It's got good flow on it though, so I kind of like that. Because it's a lacquer, you can see that it loosened up the it loosened up the fabric, and that's just because it's a lacquer base on it. So what's going to happen is that will, as it dries, it'll tighten back up again. And if it doesn't, I can just hit it very lightly with the heat gun and it'll pull it back up again. So stage 1 done. I'm letting that air out a little bit, and I'm going to get the bench cleaned off and get I think I'll get the wings up, because I want to spray I can spray anything I need to get the little stuff done first. Like with the wings, I could do the final sand on them and then go ahead and spray the little section where the aileron slides into, and on that, so I can get that painted first. Because the ailerons will be painted all by themselves, just like everything. I mean, it's just the hardest part I've got is what's out there in the garage area. So, and that one is just because I could do the wings here, but I'd rather do everything over there. So I'm hoping to have it all done today, because as soon as that plane is dry enough where I can get it, because it says you can handle it in 10 minutes. If I can get that thing painted, these are just wishes and dreams, because it's we got to be somewhere around 11 o'clock, 11:20. If I can get that painted at like 4 o'clock, if that could be back in here, I can at least get at least one side of the wings done, if not both sides of the wings, before I pull the stuff back in. So I gotta get that stuff back into there again. I can still leave the visqueen up, so all I have to do is just push that back out, because tomorrow I start work at 11 a.m. so I've got time to come down here and paint. So alright, I'll bring it back in when something else is done. Alright, it's just after 3 o'clock and the plane is done. I just got done taking the masking tape and everything off. As you can see right back there, the wing struts are done too, so that's all taken care of. So the landing gear is done, the wing struts are done. I have not touched the wings because, like I said, it's about 3 o'clock. I need to let this sit here for a little bit longer. It's taken about 2.5 hours before. See, the top's not too bad. The bottom is dry. It's pretty dry, and it takes a good 24 before it's rock solid. But anyway, here's the unveiling. It's now the evil pumpkin. It's orange. So it's orange, and it ended up taking 2 coats. I was hoping 1 coat would do it, and as you can see how much orange. I mean, look at my everything's orange. So anyway, let me show you. I did have 1 run. And it wasn't a worse spot. You can't see it, but it was right in here. It just started sagging down. And the best way to take care of something, if it just starts sagging, get yourself some masking tape. Just, you don't push it onto it, just go up to it and kind of, I'd like to show you how to do it, but you kind of hold it and push it into it, but not with your finger, just kind of have it bulge outward and then go up against it and then pull it off. So I did this twice and I pulled everything off, so I just came in and you can't even tell that it sagged there. So yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it looks good. Everything's good. There's a couple little areas right here. This could use a little touch up, so I'll do a little touch up right there. I don't know why that looks like that. That should not look like that. But no, everything else is good. I just got to wait for it to finish drying. So right there, there's a sag. Did not see it. Oh well, I'll see what I could do with. There's actually going to be. That's where the black is painted anyway for the burst. So it's what I'll probably do is figure out where the burst is going to be, put the put the masking tape on it, come in with some thin sandpaper, and just crack because it's not much. It's just a little teeny bit right there. I mean, I can leave it, and I'll probably just leave it. But yeah, it looks like it needs a little touch up right there too. So I'll come in with a can. I'll just shoot 1 little spot there, 1 little spot here, and it's I'm gonna end up coming in later on and wet sanding anyway, because there are some areas where there's a little bit of dust. You can't see it anymore, luckily, but there was a little bit of dust here, and I think there's a little bit of dust on this side too. If you hold it at a right angle, you might be able to see it. There it is, right there. So I'll wait until it fully dries, and then I'll come in. I'll just crack those off. But no, she's looking good. I'm pretty happy with the job on this. So we're getting there. Even though it's getting painted, I still got work to do. But that was the hard part to paint because I had to get everything masked, and it was the masking that it just drove me crazy. I ended up making little cardboard templates for the rear windows. So I cut those off, just shoved it in there, and then masking tape. And then one door was a piece of, you can kind of see the shape of the door, was a piece of cardboard put in there. And then the other side was just tape and masking paper. And that, you know, it only needs to work once, and everything worked very nicely. So that's kind of where we're at on that one. So I'm happy so far. So we'll work on the wings, and it's a good thing I did get extra paint, because I ended up burning up 4 I want to say 4 cans on the fuselage, and I have 2 of them left for the wings, and I just wanted to make sure I want to use 1 can on the wing top. So what I'm going to do is the first coat that I come in with, well, you know what, I've actually got 3 cans because this one's almost full. So, because otherwise I was going to come in with some of the other batch and do the first coat with the other batch, and then the second coat with the stuff that's going to match. It's just out of the same batch that's on the fuselage. I just want to make sure that it's, I mean, you hold them next to each other and you can't tell the difference. That there's a little bit of difference in coloration, but I don't want to take that chance. So yeah, so we're doing pretty good. So anyway, unless I come down here later on and spray the wings, which I probably won't. I might just come down and get them prepped because I've got to get them sanded anyway. So I might come down and get them prepped, and then maybe tomorrow morning before I go to work, at least get a couple coats on the top of both wings. Then it's just a matter of flipping them over and doing the other ones. And even if I don't, I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. So all the painting will be done before the weekend. So even if it was, with the exception of the cowling, because I still got to get those little nubs done. So I got to call up and chat to the buddy of mine that helped me do the little the plastic on the de Havilland. That was very helpful. So anyway, that's about it. It's time for me to go upstairs and eat. So I'll see you next time I'm back down in the shop. Alright, not so good morning back here in the shop. Something very bad just happened. And when I say bad, I mean really freaking bad. Alright, I was putting a second coat on the top of the plane. I had to do a second coat just to finish it off because I got 2 coats on everything else. Alright, now this is the paint I've been using with that batch number. This came out of the same case with the same batch number. Now here's what happened. I have no idea how I'm going to fix this. And you guys pretty much know. I'm hoping you can see it. It orange peeled all over the top of the plane. And I gotta wait and see what it looks like when it dries, because this is really bad. I don't know why I did it. Let me look at that. And it shouldn't be interacting with anything but the paint I sprayed on yesterday, because everything looked really good. I mean, here's what the sides look like from yesterday with 2 coats on. There's no orange peel at all, but the whole top orange peeled. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. If it's, you know, something I can lightly sand and live with. I mean, now it's looking vintage, but that's not good, my friends. It's gonna be a long day. So anyway, I'll stop over at Sherwin-Williams when I go into work, but I gotta let that set up so I can move that back into the shop, and then try to head out early. So gonna be a good miserable day. I'll let you know what happens. Alright, here's kind of the deal. I've been using Krylon for years. In Krylon you can put second coats on. It's after 24 hours. That's where, this is 48. This is the new, and it's because of the different blend. It's a Super Max. So yeah, so it ended up being my bad. And it's had, I just read the back. This says you can put an additional coat on within 2 hours or after 48. Where this stuff is typically, you can do a second coat before 4 hours and after 24. So that's where, because I put second coats on the side probably about 3.5 to 4 hours after I painted the first coat on there. So this, I would, you know, possibly should have failed the first time. But regardless, I mean, it's, you know, the orange peel's on there now. So I think it might sand off. And the other thing too is I'm hoping that I'm not going to run into issues when I'm striping this, because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me see if I can go ahead and zoom you in a little bit. Alright, I don't know if you can see that. No, where am I pointing at? Right there. Alright, you may be able to see it. It popped little bits of paint off the covering. That's no big deal. Even if that stayed like that, that's no big deal. I've got a couple little ones here, and I've got one on the other side. I'm hoping this is not going to lift off when it comes time to paint the stripes on it, because if it starts popping off, it's just gonna, I've had planes like this where it's just a freaking nightmare. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do, and it's what I should have done in the beginning, if I can just figure out where I put it. I'm going to take my little test piece that I never sprayed. If I sprayed this first, I still probably would have done the same thing, because I would not have read the back of this until, you know, you see it coming through. So, I mean, it is a nice paint. It flowed out real nice, and it's got a really nice sheen to it, but that, if you had feel-o-vision, you would see just how bad it feels. There's a couple areas that are pretty bad. Mostly this stuff up here is just little stuff, so I think I'll be able to get rid of, if I can get rid of the vast majority of it, because I'm gonna paint this right now, and then give it, you know, it's gonna be more than 48 hours, because I won't be able to come back and do any work on this until Thursday. So that'll give me, you know, 60 hours of time, so that should be good. So I'm going to spray this right now. I'm going to put one little dust coat on it, if I don't keep dropping it. Put one little dusting coat on it, and then I'm going to put one good full coat on it, and we'll let that set up, and Thursday morning I'm going to come and spray it, and if it buckles up, then I got to figure out what I want to do. So anyway, that's about it. So that was my bad. I screwed that one up, so I got nobody to blame but me. That's just the way it goes. Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. It's Thursday morning. It's actually almost noon. As you could tell from earlier on, from the last clip, that we had, or I had a big issue to work with. I spent many hours, a couple hours, I'm looking for the little test piece. This right here. Alright, what I did, it was after 72 hours, because I said you had to wait 48 before you can spray a second coat. So I waited 72, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. I hope it's going to show up nice. This side over here has 2 coats on it, and let me get the light to shine up. There you go. And it did not lift. No lift, no orange peel. So I decided it's time to start sanding, and it took me a couple hours to get it done. That was coming in. What I did was I tried 600 grit, and 600 grit just didn't have enough tooth on it. So I used a piece of an older piece of 320 that I used when I was sanding the all the dope. So I used that and in water out of a spray bottle. And this, kind of hoping that you're going to be able to see it. This is how it looks. Everything up here came out, and it came out very nicely. Up on the side, you're going to see little areas, and I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me see if I can get the focus on my finger. There's little areas that I'm going to come back and retouch, because this is the better light than I had out in the shop. So just very little spots, but it came out very nice for the way it looked. This is all flat. It's all back to flat again. So, you know, from the way it looked, it's going to look really nice now. It's because it's sanded down. So with all the sanding that I've done, you know, like when you look at this stuff here, it's going to look just like this when it's done. You're not going to notice this. So anyway, so far I'm having a good day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this one sit, because I got to spray the bottom and spray the top. I'm going to let this one sit probably till Sunday. What I want to do, I want to get 2 coats of paint, because I'm going to do it the way that they say to do it in the can. You know, you got 2 hours between coats. So I'll do 2 coats on the top of the wing, of each wing. And then I'm going to let that sit, and I'm going to let it sit probably till Sunday before I flip it over and do the bottom, just because I want that paint dry. So it's gonna, things are going to slow down slightly here. Who knows, I may bring this fuselage in and spray the bottom today, and just leave the top for later on, because with all the water, and the water had alcohol in it too to help it evaporate quicker. But I sprayed so much on here, the last thing I want all that, anything to evaporate from anywhere around it, so that way I'm not going to have any issues. But maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll spray get the wings done, and then when I can move those back into here, maybe I'll bring the fuselage out later on and spray the bottom, put the final coat on the bottom, because I'm not playing games with this paint, not after spending all this time on this. So anyway, so we're getting closer. I still got you know, a lot of little stuff to do. I gotta put a second coat on the landing gear. I'll put a second coat on the wing struts. That's all relatively quick and easy stuff. I just gotta, you know, hang it up in there once I get this coat on and let it dry. So we're getting there. I gotta do the ailerons too. Maybe I'll bang out the ailerons. I gotta figure out how I want to work with the ailerons. I'd like to get both sides sprayed and hung, but I think I'm just going to have to do it like I do the wing. I think I'll just do the tops first when I'm spraying the tops of the wings, and then I'll do the bottom when I do the bottoms of the wings. So that way, because I might be using the newer batch of paint on the bottom of the wings, because I want to make sure that I've got enough for the top of the plane, just so everything matches. So anyway, that's about it. So I'll bring you back just to give you a quick little heads up and show you what kind of progress. Hopefully I got 4 days off, and 3 of them are going to be working on the plane. So hopefully I'll get a lot of stuff done. I just, unfortunately, it's just going to be a lot of waiting time. So anyway, see you when I get something else done. All right, back down in the shop. It's now dark outside. It's I don't know, 5:30, so it's getting late. Anyway, I'm just trying to get things somewhat finalized up just to call it a day and get ready for tomorrow morning. What I've got going on right now down in Chow is that's just the ailerons, and I've got 2 coats on them, and they're looking pretty good. I can almost see something come through. I may shoot another one on these. I don't want to say I got 2 coats. I got 1. Certain parts of the video, you'll hear me say I got 2 coats on it already. It's really 1 coat. What I do is I come in, I throw down a dust coat down on top of it, and then I come in so that way it's got something that's already started to tack up. So as soon as the paint, what it does, it minimizes the amount of sags and runs. Then what you do is you'll have that coat start to tack up, come back about 10 minutes later, and then really shoot the first coat on, because you're just kind of filling in. So this is really not 2 coats right now. And if we can get down low enough and get the right angle, I might be able to do it. Let's see if I can, you can still see the weave, and I'm trying to bury a lot of that weave. I'm trying to hide a lot. So what I'm going to do, here's a nice hair. Yeah, hair's from a black lab. Yeah, it's still tacky. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some paint, come on out, and I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot another coat on it. I should probably come in and shoot another shot down in there too. You know what I'll wait until I'm doing the top before I put another blast from the other direction. So I'll just come on in, shoot another coat on the top of these 2, and then it's just going to have to sit here for. It's going to probably have to sit for almost an hour before I can pick it up and bring it in here. Now, what's in here, we got more orange in here. We got the bottom of the wings done. So in there, they were painted up probably 4 hours ago. So they're nicely tacked up. Haven't done the top yet, but I just wanted to come in. Now this is where I decided I'm waiting to paint the tops of these on Sunday, because I want these edges to be dry. I want the 48 hours. So I mean, technically 48 hours is Saturday afternoon, but Saturday I won't be here. So I got other things I got to do. So that's just going to be, I'm hoping to have all the stuff painted. I really wanted to get the rest of the little things painted, but now tomorrow I'm going to be painting at least the bottom of the plane. I may do the bottom and the top, with just trusting that this thing's got an extra day of drying up on the top, because the bottom needs a coat and the top needs a coat, and the bottom had its first real coat with, like I said, or even though sometimes I call it two, the dusting and then the full. That was done 96 hours ago. So I mean, so I was done some probably over 100 hours. So by the time you throw in tomorrow, I think everything should be safe. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll come in and first thing tomorrow morning, throw the fuse upside down and get the bottom painted and let that dry. That way I'm going to give myself a good, 4+ hours, if not more, for the bottom to dry before I shoot the top. So if I do that, we should be good to go, and then I can work on some of the little stuff. It's like I said, that's the problem with that little teeny spray booth. Once I get this plane in there, that's a whole lot of room taken up, and so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll bring it. Maybe I'll shoot it, and then when I deem it good enough to move it off there. So if I wait a couple hours and I could pick it up where it still might be a little bit tacky, but it's almost completely set, I could bring it, throw it up on the bench, and have it sit upside down, have it sit on the top, so that way I can shoot all the other little stuff, and bring it back in, hang it up on my hooks, and get that dried, and then bring this back in. I want to try to have, I will have all the painting done, with the exception of the, because maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do it this way instead. Maybe tomorrow morning, because I wanted to put another coat on these, maybe tomorrow morning I'll just cover these, and then when it comes time to shoot the coats of paint on that, because that I can have set up to be painted on Sunday as well, and then hopefully then Sunday afternoon all the painting will be done. It'll be all orange. Then it's just a matter of painting the stripes and getting the lettering done, which is going to cost me money. I got to figure out where I'm going to get that from. So, all right. Anyway, let's call this a video, because I got enough stuff just from my little faux pas the other day to throw together a nice little video for you. So I'll be back down in the shop tomorrow and see how it goes. So we'll see you in the morning.